It's not often that the realms of classic Japanese cinema and modern console gaming intersect, but in Sucker Punch's upcoming samurai adventure, Ghost of Tsushima, the two meld seamlessly. The company has taken great pains to reproduce the game's setting in 13th century Japan as accurately as possible, and the result is like playing through an Akira Kurosawa film.
It's inspiration, right? One of the ones that I think are most important is movement. There's nothing more awesome to me than a single samurai standing in a field of grass moving all around him like crazy. Super still looking, but everything moving around is sort of poetic, and it's sort of definitely a throwback to samurai cinema.
The game takes place on the western Japanese island of Tsushima in the year 1274, 9 days into a Mongolian invasion of the country. You play as Jin Sakai, one of the island's few remaining samurai, who's facing off against an invading force of thousands. Attention to detail was of paramount importance to the development of this game.
One thing that I think is actually kind of cool, is the shape of the island. The actual shape of the island is the shape of the island. Like if you look at, a top-down view of the map, it is the shape of the island.
The team made multiple fact-finding trips to the island itself in order to make sure that the landscapes appear in-game just as they do in real life. They consulted weapons experts to ensure that the Sakai family sword, which Jin wields, is depicted as accurately as possible. The team even brought in a number of historians and experts on 13th century Japanese culture to ensure that what you see on screen is as close to what happened in the Kamakura period as possible.
There's so many unique moments or beats in Japanese language. So when the script is written in English, and it's obviously when it's said in a natural way, there are some beats that doesn't sound Japanese at all.
They already won.
So we try to implement those beats by just reading or imagining how it's read in English and trying to reflect that in the English language.
Now, at this point, you may be asking yourself, so what? What does historical accuracy have to do with me and my desire to slice through all of these invading Mongolians? While historical accuracy isn't a prerequisite in video games by any means, the company's quest for realism is still commendable.
One of the things that I actually find to be really challenging is anything around Shinto or Buddhism. If you haven't studied it, it can be deep, So we've hired like a PhD who's been studying this their entire life from Cornell.
We also have a Mongolian consultant consulting on the cultures of Mongolian Empire, how they fight, how they speak. There's a combat consultant that we have. He's a master in all sorts of traditional movements in Japan, or martial arts.
So we've already seen a bunch of video games like the Warriors of Orochi and the Dynasty Warriors franchises play fast and loose with their historical facts. So the fact that Sucker Punch is going the extra mile to make this game as realistic as possible is really going to make it a unique experience for the game player.
Even actually in the combat, when he does the first strike, it's not just he just runs in there and starts chopping people up. Everything kind of sits still just for a minute. You read your enemy, they take their time, and there's some tension that we build up to, and that's another important part.
Sucker Punch has clearly done its homework with this game. While Jin and his storyline are works of fiction, the historical accuracy aspect is going to make this game really unique, and is going to help illustrate what is considered one of the darkest periods in Japanese history.